Hello students of class 11, welcome back once again to your biology class. So we have been continuing with our chapter, that is animal kingdom. So in our last class we have learned till phylum Echinodermata, and today we will start from the phylum Hemichordata. So what you have to learn from here is you have to learn the characteristics of each phylum. You have to learn about the characteristics, their examples. Okay, so Hemichordata, those organisms who are under the phylum Hemichordata, what are the characteristics exhibited by them? Right, you have to know those. Now animals, they are exclusively marine, solitary or colonial, and their body is very soft, worm like, unsegmented and bilaterally symmetrical. Triploblastic animals, and their body is divided into proboscis, collar and trunk. The body wall, it has single layered epidermis, and body cavity is a true coelom, which is divisible into protocoel, mesocoel and metacoel. Here in this type of hemichordata, notochord is absent, but a stromochord or buccal diverticulum is present in the proboscis. How is their alimentary canal? Complete, straight, U-shaped or L-shaped. How is their circulatory system? Open type. How is their blood? Colorless. Excretion process, how they perform? By the process of proboscis gland, which are known as the proboscis gland. This excretion mainly is done by the glomerulus, which is present in the proboscis, that is known as proboscis gland. Nervous system, it consists of both dorsal and ventral nerve cord. How are the animals? Unisexual. How is their fertilization performed? External. How is their development? Mostly direct, with free swimming Tornaria larva. Now these hemichordata, you can take the help of Balanoglossus example. Now Balanoglossus, if you can see the picture here, there is proboscis, body is divisible into proboscis. Then what are there? I told you, remember, proboscis, collar and trunk. So you have to practice this diagram along with leveling. The picture of Balanoglossus along with leveling. Next we will know about the phylum Chordata. These animals who possess a notochord or chorda dorsalis at some stage or throughout lifetime, those organisms are said to be in the phylum Chordata. Okay. Now animals, how they are? They have dorsal, no hollow, tubular nerve cord or spinal cord in the mid dorsal plane, and all animals possess paired pharyngeal gill slits in the embryonic stage, which may be functional throughout life or they are replaced by the lungs. The post-anal tail is also present in all animals, either in the embryonic stage or throughout life. Paired lateral appendages are present in the forms of limbs or fins or flippers, right? You know these characteristics. And the phylum Chordata, it can be classified into three subphyla: Cephalochordata, Eurochordata and Vertebrata. Okay. Now, before that, I want to tell you this chordates phylum or phylum Chordata, they can be divided into pieces: amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammalia. Now, how can we characterize the chordates? Very simple. I told you all animals who possess notochord at some stage or throughout lifetime, they have dorsal hollow nerve cord and pharyngeal gill slits. These characteristics which I told, these characteristics should be present to that organism who will be kept under the phylum Chordata. Now, bilaterally symmetrical triploblastic animal. This is one salient feature of Chordata. It possesses a post-anal tail and a closed circulatory system. This is also another characteristic of Chordata. and chordatas are the only phylum which are coelomate with organ system level of organization. This is the characteristic. Now this phylum chordata can be divided into three subphyla. One is Urochordata, number 2 Cephalochordata, number 3 Vertebrata. Now these we will know in details. First is Urochordata. Urochordata, Uro means tail and chorda means notochord. Now animals who are under the subphylum of Urochordata are also known as tunicates. They are very exclusively marine. The adult may be sedentary or pelagic, but larvae are free swimming and segmented body covered by tunicates of cellulose like material. At the anterior end, there are two pores which open into the arterial and branchial siphons. How is their pharynx? Their pharynx is greatly enlarged and has a number of gill slits. And this pharynx is surrounded by atrium that receives the gonoduct, anus, and the gill slits. Alimentary canal is complete and opens into the atrium. How is their circulation? Closed type with a tube-like heart. Blood corpuscles are also present. Excretion takes place by means of nephrocyte, pyloric gland, and neural gland. Now, how or what are the characteristics of those organisms who are under the subphylum Cephalochordata? Cephalo means head and chorda means notochord. So these are fish-like marine animals. How is their body? Their body is laterally compressed, elongated and pointed at both the ends. It is suited for burrowing and swimming. Body has no paired appendages. Median, unpaired, dorsal, ventral, caudal fins are present. And what else? The notochord, you have to mention their characteristic. How is their notochord? Notochord extends from the anterior range to the posterior range and persists throughout the life. Dorsal muscles are very thick and they are segmentally arranged and externally visible. Pharynx is enlarged. There is numerous gill slits are present. Nerve cord is tubular, dorsal to the notochord, but their brain is not differentiated. And nephridia are the excretory organs. These characteristics you have to mention, right? Anus lies posterior to the arteriophore. Postanal tail is present in these organisms, and development is indirect with gastrula larva. These are the characteristics of subphylum Cephalochordata. Now, what are the examples you can give? Urochordata. Urochordata, you can give an example of Hardmania. Cephalochordata, you can give an example of Amphioxus. So many examples are there. Clear? Now, you have to know the classes of subphylum Vertebrata. Before that, I'll tell you what are the characteristics of those organisms who are under this subphylum Vertebrata. Notochord, first point you have to mention. Notochord is completely or partially replaced by vertebral column. Anterior end of the nerve cord is enlarged. Brain is protected by cranium or brain box. Body has a bony or cartilaginous endoskeleton. Two pairs of lateral appendages are present which helps in locomotion. Liver and pancreas are associated with the digestive system. Hemoglobin is present in the erythrocyte. Endocrine gland is present. Hepatic portal system is present. So these are the characteristics of subphylum Vertebrata. Now this subphylum Vertebrata is divided into 7 classes. What are they? Cyclostomata, chondrichthyes, osteocytes, amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammalia. These are the 7 classes of the phylum Vertebrata. Now we will discuss in detail about each phylum. Okay, so first class is chondrichthyes. Okay, let us discuss cyclostomata first, because in our slide we can see cyclostomata first. The cyclo means circular and stoma means opening or mouth. So from these two words you can understand these are the living fish like jawless vertebrates How is their body? Slender, cylindrical, eel-like with a compressed tail. How is their skin? Smooth, with mucous gland and scales are absent. Mouth is circular, jawless, suctorial. Single nostril leads into the nasal sac, and notochord persists throughout the life. The brain has large cerebellum and olfactory lobe. Lateral line sense organs are well developed. So these are the characteristics. Example, you can give lamprey, hagfish. You have to know the scientific name of each. Okay. Next class is chondrocytes. Chondro means cartilage and ichthys means fish. So from chondro and ichthys, this chondrocytes word has come. So these animals are commonly called the cartilaginous fishes. They have cartilage endoskeleton, exclusively marine, and their skin is provided with mucous gland, and exoskeleton is formed of placoid scales. Mouth and external nostrils are ventral in position, but nostrils do not lead into internal nostrils. Okay, body is fusiform. Both paired and unpaired fins are present. Caudal fin is heterocercal. Pelvic fins in males are modified into claspers. 5 to 7 pairs of gills are present, but they are not covered by operculum. So these are the 5 to 6 characteristics you remember. Apart from that, these animals are unisexual. Fertilization is internal. Development is direct. You can give an example of scoliodon or dogfish, trigon or stingray, torpedo, that is electric ray. You can give these examples of chondrocytes. Okay, these examples you can give. You have to know both the scientific name and along with the common name. 4 to 5 or 6 characteristics you remember, along with 2 or 3 examples of each. Okay, our next class is osteocytes. Osteo means bone, right? Osteo means bone and ichthys means fish. So these animals are called the bony fishes as they have a bony endoskeleton. They are both marine, brackish and freshwater. Skin is covered by ctenoid or cycloid scales. Caudal fin is homocercal. How is their mouth? Terminal. 4 pairs of gill slits are present, that is covered by operculum. Air bladder is present. What is the function of air bladder? It helps in providing buoyancy. Heart is two-chambered with one atrium and one ventricle. But one exception is there, that is the lungfish. Lungfish have three-chambered heart. Brain has cerebellum and olfactory lobes that are smaller than that of chondrocytes. Lateral line sense organs are well developed. Poikilotherms, unisexual animals, external fertilization takes place. So you can give some examples of these osteocytes like you can give pomfret or Labiorohita, Katla, hilsa, which you can find around. Understood? Our next class is amphibia. Amphi means dual, bios means life. So these amphibians, these are tetrapod or four-footed organisms that live on land and move to water bodies for the purpose of reproduction. Animals are poikilotherms. Poikilotherms means, I told, those are cold-blooded. The skin is smooth, glandular, moist skin, and they have a role in respiration. Their body is divided into head, trunk, and tail, but tail is absent in anura or toad or frog. Head bears terminal mouth opening, behind which there is a pair of external nostrils that are lateral in position. So these are the few characteristics. Another salient feature of this phylum, this class amphibia, is presence of tympanum. Tympanum is present. Ear it consists of internal and middle ear. Eyes are large, protruding. Nictitating membrane is present. Nictitating membrane is the third eyelid, we can say, which is a waterproof covering for the eyes when the animal is in water. Dicondylic skull is present. Dicondylic skull means two occipital condyles articulate with the vertebral column. Okay. Cutaneous respiration by means of skin. when the animal is in water, and during hibernation and estivation it's by lungs and buccopharyngeal cavity when the animal is in land, and by its gills when they are in tadpole larval stage. Three-chambered heart is present, two atria and one ventricle. Alimentary canal, ureters and reproductive system open through the cloaca. Animal is unisexual, fertilization is external. So you can give some examples of Rana tigrina, that is the bullfrog, Bufo, that is the toad, Salamandra, that is the salamander. 2 to 3 examples, both the scientific name and the common name. Okay. Our next class is reptilia. Reptile. So reptiles, you are acquainted with this term. Repair, R-E-P-A-I-A-R-E. Repair means crawl or creep. So these animals who crawl or creep are under this class of reptilia. How are the animals? Animals are poikilotherms. Skin is dry without gland and is covered by epidermal scales called scutus. Body is divisible into head, neck, trunk and tail. Skeleton is ossified. It has a single occipital condyle, that is known as monocondylic, three-chambered heart, two atria and incompletely partitioned ventricle. How do they perform respiration? By lungs, and in turtles through cloacal respiration. Excretion by pair of kidneys, and animals are uricotelic. 12 pairs of cranial nerves are present. Unisexual animals, internal fertilization takes place. You can give example of, so many examples are there. Calotis, that is the garden lizard. Draco, that is the flying lizard. Or you can give turtle, that is chelone. Or you can give tortoise, that is testudo. So many examples are there. Remember 2 to 3 examples. Our next class is aves. So these are warm-blooded homeotherms. Basically all the birds. Okay, the presence of feathers is found which makes them to fly. Beak is present, jaws are modified into beaks and teeth are absent. Forelimbs are modified into wings for flying. Skin glands are absent except uropygial or preen gland at the base of the tail. Right? Monocondylic skull is present, lungs are spongy, larynx does not have vocal cord and sound is produced by syrinx which is situated at the junction of the trachea and the bronchi. Birds are oviparous, eggs are megalithical and development is direct and parental care is well developed in them. You can give an example of columba, that is pigeon, or pavo, or corvus or crow. You can give 2 to 3 examples. Understood? So aves means those birds which are found are included under this class. Our next class is class Mammalia. Mammæ means breast. These animals are warm-blooded or homeotherms. Body is divisible into head, neck, trunk and tail, and body is covered by hair, which is a unique feature in the animal kingdom. How is their skin? Skin is impervious to water. It is provided with sweat gland and sebaceous gland. Skin has a role in the regulation of the body temperature. Presence of external ear or pinna is a characteristic feature of this class Mammalia. Thecodont and heterodont teeth are present. Dicondylic skull and trunk is internally partitioned by diaphragm. 12 pairs of ribs are present. This is the unique characteristic. Four-chambered heart. Double circulation. RBC are without nucleus except camel and llama, where these RBC contains nucleus. Fertilization is internal and complete development or gestation takes place within the mother's body. So these animals are viviparous and young ones are nourished by the milk secreted from the mammary glands. So these are the special features, or these are the characteristics of the class Mammalia. I hope you have understood. So you have to know the differences between Reptilia, Mammalia. You have to know the characteristics and the differences between the aves and the Mammalia. Okay, and read this chapter thoroughly. This is all about the chapter. Okay, thank you so much.